So last lecture we are covered the operation process chart, and that example we have taken. And at the end of the last lecture, we are just started this particular flow process chart, and we try to finish it, but we will not get completely this particular flow process chart. So once again, we will start from this particular point, and we will continue our lecture. It is the identification of sequence of work or product or part. It is the extension of operation process chart in which operations, inspection, storage, delay, transportation are represented. So generally, flow process chart can be shown or can be represented in the three types. What are these types? Man type. For man, it represents the activities what persons are doing, whether they are traveling from its own location to the particular storage, one machine to another machine, or on that machine what that person is doing. That means taking the vernier caliper, measuring something on machine, loading the job, unloading the job, tool setting, switch on the machine, switch off the machine, operation. So like this, what activity that a worker is doing, so that is represented in man type. Then material type. In that, what materials behave or what is the material process is there, material activities are there. In general, if we look at what materials are doing, after cutting, material is stored in cutting panel, then it is moved from cutting to the machine, then on machine it is stored. We cannot say stored, but we can say kept. Then material is loaded to the machine, operations are done, inspection, and then kept into store. So that material point of view we have to think. For first chart man type, we have to think as per the, we can call it as the human wise, how that human behaves. For second type, we have to think for material, how that material is moving. And third one is equipment type. So use of equipments in product development. Which equipments you are using? Vernier, rule, machine, whatever maybe the equipments are there, how that equipments are used, in that way we can represent the third chart. So if you go a little bit example wise, this is the first is the in man type. So for that man type, what is the task is given? Inspection of component. Inspection of component. So let's take this particular is one example. You can take any component. Okay, so you are standing on the inspection table. Okay, so and your task is to inspect the component. Then how that person is working? As we reach to the inspection table, immediately he is receiving the goods. Okay, so goods receiving. So goods receiving means somebody from the store or finished products from some machine. Some worker come with that particular products, uh, and he will provide you the products. Is it right? So as you are standing on the inspection table, you are receiving the goods. So that is the transportation. Okay, you are receiving the goods because from one point you are receiving the goods. So that is transportation. Then on that table, inspection table, we are placing the components. So that is, we can call it as a locate the component. So locate the component means you have just received the goods from that one component, two component you have taken, you have kept on the particular machine, that inspection table. Sometimes we require to put the component in different angles so that we can measure the other sides. Sometimes in one direction only we can keep the component. Okay, or on the inspection table, if space is there, you can place it in, let's say 10 components you have placed. Then from 10 components, you cannot measure all the particular components at the same time. So once that components are placed, it is located, then you are going to pick up one component. You are going to pick up one component. So one component you have taken. After that, to the inspection department, you are standing on inspection table, but let's say department is little bit backside. So you are taken the one component and you are going to the department. In the department, you might be looking that particular component. First, we can call it as a usual inspection. Okay, set the component. If some fixture is there, if some extra arrangement is made, proper lighting, etc. So you are making that thing and you are setting the component. Then first particular operation start visual inspection. So you are looking with your eyes and you are started visual inspection. You are just representing the particular we can say shape, uh, whether that shape of the component is correct as per drawing or not. Is that right? So that visual inspection you are making. So generally when we go to the market, if I, let's take example, I want to go to the purchase the mobile, I will take the mobile in my hand and what I will do, I will check from like this. Is it right? That is called visual inspection. Then next thing is that measure and record the length. So operation is there. So you are taking vernier caliper, you are taking micrometer, you are taking steel rule, and you are starting the measuring the length, width, whatever may be the thing, height, diameter. So you are measuring and immediately you are recording on paper. It is not like that. You are just measuring and you are keeping in mind. No, if this is the particular thing, let's say this is the particular component, then I will measure from this to this how much, 5 mm. So I will write here 5 mm. This to this, it is 10 mm, so I will write immediately 10 mm. So like this measuring things will be there, measure and record. Then put the inspection seal. Once that inspection document is ready, you are writing your name, you are making signature, and whatever the inspection seal is there, yes, this component is inspected. So that seal you are making. And after that, you are going to the stored. You are going to store to keep that component in the safety. So this is the inspection chart or inspection of component for person. How that person is behaving itself. So first he will receive the good, put the component on table, take one component, go to the inspection department, set the component, check the, visualize it, measure it, record it, seal, prepare the inspection report, seal it, and go back to the store. So how that person activities are there. So after store, again he will go to the particular inspection table, again he will take another, pick up the another component, again go back. So same method or same cycle we can say it is repeated. But in this taking of one component, how many symbols are used? And what is the frequency of that symbol? If you look, operation symbol, that is represented in circle. It is used for 5 times. Locate the component, pick up the component, set the component, measure and record, and put the inspection seal. Then work in progress or certain activities, or if you look, if you are remembering this, operation, inspection. For inspection, box is there. For transportation, arrow is there. So inspection, visual inspection, that inspection done by our naked eyes, so that is represented in a box. So 1 number. And transportation, receiving the good, going to the inspection department, and going to the store. So you are changing your position at this particular 3 points. Is it right? So that transportation symbol is used for 3 times. So like this, you can prepare the we can call it as flow chart for person. This flow chart may be for start of the day to the end of the day, or this flow chart may be for inspection procedure of one component only. Is it right? So start of the day to the end of the day, that particular process chart may become too long. Is it right? So here we have taken the example for one component, checking of that component, making inspection of that component, how this flow chart works. So this is the simple example. Then if we take the material type, and again same particular task we have taken, inspection of component. In this here in first the chart, what are the task is there, inspection of component. In this, how the person is behaving, that we have seen. But here same inspection of component, but how the material is behaving, where material went, where material how material behaves, that we are looking. So initially material is in the stored. Is it right? It is stored. It is somewhere stored at different locations. So first one is delay for material, because materials are waiting for man. Materials cannot himself go from one place to another. They are waiting. Somebody should come and they should pick up, and they should keep going to the inspection department. So first one is the delay, because D is shown, not D is shown. As it is delay, that's why D is shown. As material is waiting, material is in its own condition, rest condition, they are waiting for the person to come and pick up them. So they are in delayed condition. So first one is delay, waiting for man. Second, after that person will come, he will leave the particular job and he will go to the inspection department. So that traveling from store to the inspection department. So that is shown here, to the inspection department. Is it right? From stored place, the material is now moving to the inspection department. That's why it is shown in the particular arrow. Third, set on the bench. Material himself will not sit on the bench. For that person is required to work. Is it right? So person will pick up the material, he will put the material on the particular bench, he will tighten the screws and rotate the whatever may be the inspection procedure is required. So setting on the bench, so that is operation is carried out with the help of materials. Then inspection. Then somebody may think that, sir, inspection is done by man, why that material we are writing the inspection? Once that material is kept on the machine, it is ready for inspection. Material is also ready for the inspection once it is set on the bench, and inspection of that material is going on. Is it right? So when I will take this particular part in my hand and I will just check like this, I will just check like this from all the angles. How it tells that the material inspection is going, visual inspection. Sometimes it is not required to touch the part also. You can set the particular part and you can take the you can visualize from different angles like this. Okay, so that inspection of that material is going on. Then measure the dimensions. So when a person will take the vernier caliper and he will measure the whose dimension that particular person is measuring, that material dimensions they are measuring, length, width, drill, whatever may be the measure want you want. Okay, then stamping. Stamping is done on that material. Is it right? You are knowing after preparing the job, you are making your roll number as a stamping there. So that is nothing but stamping on the material also and on the inspected sheet also. After that inspection sheet is there where we have put the inspection information. That paper also required to stamp, and whatever the product you have inspected on that product also you have to make the certain stamp. Though stamp is nothing not like that we have just whatever the seal or whatever stamp we are putting on the paper. Sometimes on that material or on that product you can make the punch, you can make certain numbering 1 2 3 4, so that particular indicate that on which product the stamping is there or numbering is there or certain at certain location punch is there, small punch. It indicates that this particular product inspection is carried out. It is a simple way. So let's say this is the example, this is the particular product, and on this product whether inspection is done or not, for that if I select one of the corner, okay, or near to this particular, let's say this is a mobile phone, whether this mobile phone is inspected or not, how I can understand? So near to the camera I will just make the one dot, it may be red dot or it may be black dot, etc. With marker if I make the dot, it indicates that then whenever the next person will come and he will pick up this particular product, he will not check anything, he will just go and see the back side near to this particular camera whether dot is present or not. If dot is present, it means the inspection of this part is already done and inspection report may be in the files. If dot is absent, it indicates that inspection of this particular product is not done. Is it right? So that is nothing but the stamping, that is stamped. So you can make certain, if metallic parts are there, you can make some small punching on that. You can punch the number, you can punch the small hole, whatever may be stamping. That indicate only the inspection of this part is over. And after that, again this part is going to the store. It is not kept on the particular table itself or in inspection department. It is not kept into the inspection department, it is going to the store, and once it is going after store, what is there, you are just keeping that part into the store. So that inverted triangle indicate it is stored, part is get stored. So in this particular flow chart, how many symbols we have used? So we have used one delay symbol, two transportation symbols, one inspection symbol, three operation symbol, and one store symbol. So nearly all the particular symbols we have used in this particular flow chart, in this particular material type flow chart. Is it right? So this is the material point of view. Then equipment point of view. So whatever the particular process chart we have taken for the operation process chart, first same we will take here, that nut and axle. So first is the facing, then inspecting, threading, inspection, champering, inspection, turning, inspection. So whatever number is there, 3 number it indicate in circle is process, and 3 number in box indicate inspection of that particular process. First is the facing operation and inspection of facing. Second one is the threading operation, inspection of threading. Champering. Third is the inspection of champering. Turning. Machining head, inspection of turning. Threading, inspection of particular fifth machining head. Champering, and then assembly. So operation process chart and equipment process chart are similar, where we are writing in a vertical manner, and to the right hand side of this operation we are writing the introduction or we can call it the description of that operation, and left hand side of that operation we are writing the time required for that operation. How much time is required for that operation, that is we are writing to the left hand side. Okay, so this is the equipment type which is similar to the process type chart. Then if you make the total summary, so for this particular chart I am asking, so operation, how many time operation is used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 times operation symbol is used. And what is the total cost? What is the total cost, not cost, or what is the total time of that? So 8 time operation frequency is used and total minutes are required 24 minutes. Then similarly, inspection symbol, how many times it is used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 time inspection symbol was used. And so inspection symbol 6 times. How much time is required? 6 minutes are required for inspection. So operation, to make the process 24 minutes are required, to make the inspection 6 minutes are required. So one job is completed within 30 minutes. You can place there 30 minutes or in half an hour, one job is yet completed. Is it right? So this is the equipment type. It is similar to the operation process type or operation flow chart. Then next one is very interesting, left hand and right hand chart or two-handed process chart. So here a person always are having two hands, left hand and right hand. So two-handed chart. So what work you have done with left hand and what work you have done with right hand, that is represented in this. So here a very simple example is there, that task of nut and bolt. Okay, assembly of nut and bolt. So how you are making that assembly nut and bolt? So nut and bolt is in front of you on the table. How you are making it? So your left hand and this is the right hand. So your left hand is going to the pick up that particular nut. Bolt. You are picking the bolt in the right hand. Your right hand is going and you will pick the nut. Grasp the nut. Just picking and grasping. Okay. Then first operation for this hand is grasp the bolt. Okay. Carry it towards center position. So I will put the bolt and I will put here. I will take the nut and grasp the nut and I will go to the center position. So this much distance, whatever my hands are moving in video you can see, whatever my hands are moving, this much distance also we are just showing here. Carry to the central position. Okay. Then what is the next? Next is the particular left hand is hold and place the nut or bolt. Okay. So I will just show you like this. So I have disassembled my pen itself. Okay. So let's say this is the bolt, this is the nut. So what I will do, I will pick up, reach the bolt, reach the nut. Once I will get it, I will grasp it like this. I will just pick up like this, I will grasp like this. I will move to the central position. This is hold. Place the nut on the bolt. So I will place the nut. Then I will put my left hand steady, holder. So this is holder. But this side screw the nut. So I will screw the nut here like this. My left hand is at that time hold the condition, but right hand side screwing the nut like this. Once it is completed, then grasp the assembly. Okay, so after this completion, I will put it into my left hand. Then next operation, transfer to the right hand like this. Then I will grasp the assembly like this. Carry to the box. Release the assembly. Is it right? And return hand to the central position like this. So in between this, when I am just taking this assembly from left hand side to right hand side, and I will put this particular into box. At that time, I am only right hand is working. At that time, my left hand is in steady condition. So here it is shown delay. After transferring assembly to the right hand, so this is left hand. This assembly, when I will transfer to the right hand is working. Is it right? So here it is written carry to the box. Arrow is shown to right hand side chart. So carry to the box. My right hand is going to carry this assembly to box. But at that time, my left hand is in steady condition. It is rest condition. So here it is shown delay one. Again second delay. So my left hand will be remain steady. Right hand carry the box, release the assembly, put into the box and return to the center position. So my hand from this movement, as this is nut and bolt, from this movement it is going to there, put it into the box. From that box, when it will come back to the central position, up to this particular motion, left hand is remaining in steady condition. So that is delay. So this is the two-handed chart we can call. So when you are doing operation, what are your two hands are there, how they are working? This is very simple. Again, I will just explain this particular part with your my pen itself. So I will disassemble this pen. So this is one part, this is one part. All of you are might be looking. You might be finding this. Okay. This is kept in front of me on the table. And right now my hands are ideal, both hands. So how I will start? I will move my left hand. I will pick up bolt or one part. Then I will move my right hand. I will take it. So this is the picking. Grasp the nut. Carry to the central position. Put it. With my left hand, I will hold this particular bolt. With right hand, I will start to screwing. After screwing, it is given to the left hand, hold. Again, give it to the right hand. Right hand will put this into the box. Is it right? Release the assembly into the box and return the right. So whatever these particular motions are there, so in this whatever my hand movements are there, so that is called two-handed process chart. So whatever my two-handed process chart is there, same thing when you are standing on the machine. With left hand, you start the machine on the machine. With right hand, you take the tool. Is it right? Or with just you can start the machine with left hand. Whether it is started, yes, immediately you switch off the particular machine. Let's say example of lathe machine. All of you are knowing lathe machine very well. So left hand you start the machine, then immediately switch off the machine. Then hands are moving. At that time my right hand is steady. Machine is switched off. Then I will pick up the job from right hand, put it into the chuck. From left hand I will start rotating the upper key, chuck key, so that I can put the job into the jaws. After placing the job, I will both handed. I will rotating the key. So whatever the operations are there, whatever the things we are doing, what things we are doing, and in what sequence these things are doing. So that is also recorded. So simple example, if you if you are riding on the bike, what your left hand and right hands are doing? Left hands, it is stationary, always it's hold the clutch, release the clutch. At the time of gear change, it push the clutch, after change the gears, release the clutch and hold. Right hand side, brake is there, or you can increase the speed, you can decrease the speed. For at the time of gear changing, you are push the clutch, reduce the speed, then again your legs are coming to change the gear. After change the gear, release the clutch, increase the speedometer. So like this, each and every small things, whatever our hand motions are there, so that hand motions are represented in two-handed process chart. In the industry also, in similar way, when worker are working on the particular machine, what operations they are doing with left hand, what operations they are doing with right hand. So that is also be that care also be taken in that view. And this two-handed process chart is there. So all of you are knowing the procedure for measuring the diameter or length with vernier caliper? Do you know it? Anybody can reply me? Can anybody know it? The procedure of measuring the equipment or measuring the diameter with the help of vernier caliper.
Yes, sir.
What is that? Can anybody tell me? Rishikesh, Rakesh, anybody tell me what is that procedure? If you are knowing.
Sir, I know, but problem in explaining.
Let it, you can talk in, you can discuss in another Marathi also, no problem.
Sir, before operation, we check once the diameter of that particular nut and bolt, and after the completion of our work, we can again inspect that the particular are in
No,
correct
I am not
shape.
asking that. I am not asking that. I am asking, let's say this is the rod. Whatever in front in video you are finding, I am holding my pen in front like this. In this is, let's say, rod, and I want to measure the diameter of this rod. What is the procedure? So in metrology subject, you might be knowing that. Whether that procedure you are knowing? Hello, Rishikesh, whether that procedure you are knowing?
No, sir, no. I think we use
Micrometer or vernier caliper, etc. There is no question. Which any one equipment you can use. Rakesh, do you know?
Yes, sir.
How to measure the diameter of this rod? Whether procedure is known to you?
Yes, sir. By vernier caliper, sir.
How it is there? How to use that vernier caliper?
So we have to set that tool into the vernier caliper and
How?
add it
How? My question is there. How? Which
in the
hand?
graph.
In which hand you should put the vernier? In which hand you should put the?
Sorry, sir. Don't miss.
That is what I am asking. That if you are listening this particular lecture in carefully, and whatever the videos I have started, if you are looking to my video, you might be knowing that what I am doing, I want to explain what is the process of these two hands. So in any measurement, when you pick anything from you with your right hand, then in right hand you cannot keep the component. You have to shift this component to left hand like this. Take the vernier, put here, that vernier should be in right hand, and put this, and with your thumb and the index finger, this finger and thumb, with these two fingers only you can set the screws. So whenever equipment has purchased, whenever equipment has sold, the standard operating procedure, that is called SOP, it is with that equipment, or it is with that particular equipment, or with that product, we can say. So do you remember that when you purchased a mobile or purchased a certain mixer or fridge, etc., when you open the box, what you find first? Instruction manual. We are not looking to that instruction manual. They have shown, their small pictures are there, and on that picture they have shown you have to push here, you have to start this way, the whatever the on off button is this side, volume increment buttons are this side. So they have taken small pictures. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
So that is the importance of this particular two-handed process chart. This is nothing but the process. This process chart can be laterally converted into the your standard operating manual. So whenever, let's say this is the mobile. So this mobile I have purchased. So if I look the manual, it is shown to this side particular corner at this particular position, that particular on off button is there. You have to, it is written push the on off button, and whatever the diagram of that or thing, we can say photo of that on off button is there, it is there. So I have to push that small button only, then my mobile will start. Above that, the big, I can say a big button is there little bit. So on that button they are written plus and minus, and it is written volume increase, volume decrease. So if I will start this particular button, I will push this particular button or this particular button, the volume of this mobile goes on increasing or decreasing. Then fingerprint. So they have shown at back side one circle is there, and here like this finger is there, and they have kept this much photo only. So you can touch the finger here. So like this, that instruction manual or operating manual is there. In that they have written also, hold the mobile in left hand, use the right hand finger. So we are not reading at all these particular points. Why I am explaining you this? Because whenever you are going to develop new product, whenever you are going to give some instruction to the a person who don't know how to use it, that time such a process chart are very, very important. Just imagine that in industry there is a one worker who doesn't know how to make the assembly of nut and bolt. Most of the time everybody is knowing, but let's consider that there is a worker who doesn't know how to make the assembly of nut and bolt. How he can do that particular part? So for that, these particular charts are there. Okay, so take the nut into your left hand, put the left hand, take the nut into right hand, put it, grasp it, take it, put it, like this, the things are there. So this assembly of nut and bolt is very simple. We are knowing, we are doing at various times. That's why we are feeling little bit enjoyment, that how these particular things are there. But when we are not knowing what to do and how to do, then there is a problem. So this is the two-handed process chart, where the activities of left hand and activities of right hand, these are in detail shown, and the meaning of this particular chart shows that what is the correct process to do that task. Because many times it found that though the things are simple, but people are doing that things in different manner or in some wrong way. So last time we have taken an example that if I want to measure the diameter of this rod with vernier caliper, this particular should be kept in left hand, vernier should be kept in right hand, and then I should measure. But if you go for a different way like this, if right hand I will put hold this particular thing, and then left hand I will put the vernier, definitely I will not take the proper reading. There may be the small mismatch. Okay, so to avoid that such a things, this two-handed process chart is used. I hope everybody has understood this two-handed process chart. Then this is the next multiple activity chart. Multiple activity chart. So what is this multiple activity chart? The two symbols are used in this chart. One is representing working and another one representing ideal. So what is written information is there? First we will write this. Working represented by hatched column and ideal represented by blank as shown below. So this is the simple chart in which only two symbols are used. One is working, one is ideal. In working, the box is there. In this box, the particular hatch lines are there. Simple box is there and hatch lines are there. And ideal means rest condition or no working condition, so only simple box is there. Okay, this is the very simple two things are there in this chart. It helps to explore the way to increase utilization of man and machine. So it tells you that whether the machine or that particular man is in working condition or it is in ideal condition. It is used to reduce the ideal time of machine and operator. Okay, so if working section is more, it means this machine or this man is more time in working condition. If ideal section is more, this indicate this machine, this operator is in ideal time is more, and we can give him some extra task, extra work, like this. Combine or eliminate sum of operations. So how it is shown? It is like this. So there are, we can say, combined chart. This particular chart is for operator and this particular chart is for machine. Okay, so first is the operation, then you can write here timing also. Okay, how much time is required, that is shown in this particular t time, and what is the symbol you are using, whether it is ideal or whether it is in operating condition. So for, if I look for operator, so this is the operator. For machine, again machine description is there, time is required, and symbol, whether it is ideal or whether it is in working. Okay, so first description, at, let's say this is the 0, that means just we have started. It may be any number, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, like this, 9 o'clock, whatever means this number is there. Then load the job, take the job from the panel, load to the machine. So for loading the job, 0.20, I can say 20 seconds are required. Is it right? So load the job on machine, 20 seconds. At that time, operator is in busy condition. Operator is taking the job, he is putting on the machine and he is just checking. Is it right? But at that time, machine is ideal. Machine is not started, nothing is there. So machine is ideal, so empty block is there. After loading the job, so at, let's say 00 timing, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, this is started. But after 8.2 minutes or 8.2 seconds or whatever may be, 8.2 minutes, let's say, job is loaded. For that 2 minutes, machine is ideal. Then from this 0.20 to 0.28, I will just I can say feed the job on the machine, load the job on the machine, tighten the screws, etc. At 0.28 time, I will switch on the particular machine. So that is again operator work, switch on. So operator is busy, machine is ideal. Machine doesn't have any operation right now. At 0.36, switch off, switch on, whatever may be. Whatever may be, switch off may be there, switch on may be there. At that time again, operator is busy. What we have to show, operator is busy. Switch on the machine, switch off the machine, feed the job again, once again, etc. But at that time, machine is ideal. Machine is ideal means somebody says, sir, already you have started, switch on the machine, how machine is ideal? No, when actually cutting is there, up to that, it's a machine is ideal only. Let's say a drilling machine. Drilling machine, I have started, switch on, I have make the switch on of that machine. Drill tool is in rotary condition, but no job is below that drill machine. That drill tool is rotating just ideally. So that is called ideal. When it will touch to the workpiece and when the drilling is started, at that time we can say drilling operation is started. Up to that, machine is remain ideal only. Is it right? Then once job is loaded, the particular tools are. So we are doing this. What it indicate, when the operator is doing something, that load the job on the machine, switch on the machine, switch off the machine, or set the particular cutting parameters, and start the actual operation. Up to this particular, machine is remain idle. Machine is not himself start the task. But once that cutting is started, let's say facing is there, the tool is touched to the workpiece and etc. Facing is started. So machine is doing facing that time. What is the task of ideal? Just to rotate a small wheel. But other things are of that operator is ideal. Is it right? So at that, once that cutting is started, at that time the operator is in ideal condition, but machine is on the machine of the part, or machine is in running condition, that is in working condition. Once that cut is over, that machining is over, after that the pick up the part, release the particular part. So check the part on the machine with the help of keys and all these things, remove the part from the machine and keep it into the tray. So at that time that operator is in working. Once that machine is switched off or operation is over, that means let's say a turning operation is there or drilling operation is there. Once drilled hole is there, when there is no contact between tool and workpiece, we can say machine is ideal. So switch off the machine, remove the job, check it, keep it into the tray, take the new job, put it onto the machine, load the job on the machine. So that is a worker's job is there. Worker is in condition, that is means operator is in working condition. But at that time, machine is remaining ideal. So to this, if you look at all these particular things, if you look at, for first time machine operator is busy for let's say 20 seconds, then for 8 seconds, then again for 8 seconds. So 20 plus 8, 28 plus 36 plus this 5 seconds plus this 5 seconds. So for these many times the operator is in busy condition or operator is in working condition. But if you look at the machine, for this much time machine is in ideal condition, and for this 1.5 minute or 1.5 second or 1.5 minute, so that particular machine is in working condition. So at the end of this particular chart, you might be find that, or you might be see that the operator working time and machine working time both are different. And how we can understand it? We can understand it through looking at this particular chart. So here it is shown what is the multiple activity chart. Multiple activity chart, it is represented in two symbols only. One is working and one is ideal. So this side operator is working, machine is ideal. When machine is working, operator is in ideal side. Again operator is in working condition, machine become ideal. So at this particular, we can set how much time the machine is working condition, how much time the operator is in working condition. The flow process chart sequence and nature of the movement, but it doesn't. So that is for next. This is the very simple chart, that is multiple activity chart. And by looking at this chart, we can understand total ideal time and total working time. Okay, so this is the particular multiple activity chart. The next one is the diagrams. So these are charts. So if you look at our first slide, when we started this, so these charts we have just completed. Then we are going to the B part, that is diagram. Okay, so that B part we are going to the diagrams. So what different diagrams are used in this in industry engineering? The flow process chart sequence and nature of the movement, but it doesn't not clearly show the path of movement. So what is written here in flow process chart? Sequence and nature of movement is there. So if I go to the that particular chart, see here, flow process chart. It is a 3 types. So in this, here movement is shown, receiving goods, inspection department to store. Just arrow is shown, movement is shown, or here to inspection department to store. Just a movement is shown, but it doesn't show the clear path from which department to which department. Or in the shop floor, in the layout of the company, where the store department is there, where this inspection department is there, from which corner to which corner we should go, that doesn't show in that. There just arrow is shown. So path of movement is not shown in the flow process chart. In the path of the movement, there are often undesirable features such as conjunctions, backtracking, and unnecessary long movement. So sometimes we require to move from this department to this department. That means one corner of the industry to the other corner of the industry. So that we have to think here, the path of the movement. To record this unnecessary movement, representation of working area in the form of flow diagram, string diagram can be made. So here the flow diagrams or string diagrams are used so that we can understand, we can record from where to where the workers are moving or from where to where the material is moving. To study the different layout plans and thereby select the most optional layout. So sorry, most optimal layout. So first we have to prepare the layout of the industry, that is already there, and then we have to find these diagrams. Study the traffic and frequency over the different routes of the plant. Traffic and frequency of the route. So let's say diagram is there from this store to maintenance department, store to maintenance department. If more people are going to the store and more people are going to the maintenance department, the frequency and the traffic on that route is more. So we might be knowing these situations. So if you are listening FM radios, at that time they are showing on this road more traffic is there, on this road more traffic is there. So the traffic and frequency, how many times that road is get blocked. So here in industrial point of view, it doesn't mean any outside roads. It means the roads in industry or path in industry, that is maintenance department path, store side path or canteen side path, on which side that there is more traffic and more frequency. Identification of backtracking and obstacles during movement. So what obstacles are coming? So let's say that store is there and near to store, let's say canteen is there. More people are going to the store and there is a huge traffic in the store or huge rush in the store or huge work in the store. So what people will do? Yeah, store, some people are doing their work. My number is at after some time. For that 10 minutes, let's go to the canteen and take a tea. So unnecessary that time is increased. So that particular, that is obstacle, that become obstacle. Backtracking. At what time we are going to the store? What is the working time in the store and what is the coming back, backtracking, coming back to the work. Let's say my work is that I am working on the machine. Right now I require vernier caliper, but vernier caliper is not on my machine. So I have to take the vernier caliper from store. Just what I will do as a worker, as an operator, I will leave my machine, I will go to the store. Okay, how much time is required to make the sign on that vernier caliper register? Put my name, I have taken the vernier caliper, and put the date and sign. How much time is required? Hardly 1 minute. Put the number, name on that particular register, make the sign, take the vernier caliper and come back to the machine. From machine to store, for this traveling, I required, let's say, 2 minutes. 2 minutes going, 1 minute signing on the register, again 2 minutes coming back to the machine. So this, let's say, 5 minutes job is there. Go to the store, take the vernier and come back. But as I told earlier, near to store, that canteen is there. If I went to the store and in front of me, let's say 3-4 workers are standing, and they have to take certain things from the store. Different certain operators are standing, and they are doing their entries and they are collecting their material. 5 minutes or 10 minutes are required. What I will say, in this 10 minutes, I will take 1 cup of tea. So automatically I will go to the canteen. I will take the tea. Then after 10 minutes, I will come back to the store. Or after, instead of 10 minutes, I will sit in the canteen for next 5 minutes. I will chit chat with other operators. And after 20-30 minutes, I will come back to store. I will sign on the register. I will take the vernier and I will come back to the machine. So ideal time to go to the store, collect the vernier and come back is 5 minutes. But for that 5 minutes, I have went there in 2-3 minutes. Then I have spent 12 to 15 minutes in canteen. Then I have signed on the register, take the vernier and come back to the machine. In this particular whole process, I wasted 20 minutes. So where the ideal time is of 5 minutes, instead of that 5 minutes, I required 20 minutes for same work. Then in this case, whether unproductive time is increased or decreased, can anybody answer me? In this process, whether unproductive time is increased or decreased? Can anybody tell me? Hello, Rishikesh? Virazdar, Rakesh? Can anybody tell me? Rishikesh?
Yes.
Is it right?
Yes, sir.
That is what we are learning. That is what we are learning from these diagrams. So how these diagrams are there? So this is the diagram. And this is the flow diagram. Okay. And this flow diagram tells you the, again here some arrows are shown. So these arrows are shown that indicate the path. Okay. So these are the one, that is the layout of the company, and in which different departments may be there, different areas may be there, and how we are traveling from one department to the other department. Okay, so that is shown. And looking at this diagram, can anybody tells me, can we modify in these diagrams? Can we shift some departments? So what is the departments are there? So all of you are knowing, circle represent operation. So these are the machine stations. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6. Then this inverted triangle is nothing but store. So this is represented as the store. This is the store. Then circle is operation locations or operation points. How the people, so this is the store again, one number A. This is the J, again one store. Then B, C, D, E, F, G, H, again stores are there. Sorry, operation points are there. So how they, from store to 1 number machine to 2 number machine, 3, 4, E, F, then G, H, I. So like this, the things are there. That means it is shown with the arrow. Okay. So what this particular diagram tells you, by looking at this diagram, what you can understand. So this diagram tells you the sequence wise flow, A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to F, G, H, then I. Okay, or F to I. Then in between this, whatever these dotted points are there, these dotted departments are there. These are not coming in this diagram. That indicate these may be the office, accounts, etc. So in a working condition, these departments are helpful. So that is why this is the flow diagram. From one point, how the flow is there for the second point. Is it right? Here you can also understand that from A to B, you are required to cover maximum distance. But from B to C, a very small distance is required to cover. Is it right? Similarly, from E to F, a more distance is required to cover, but from F to G or F to H, very small distance is required to cover. So that is we can say, from one department to another department, how much time is required, how much distance we required to cover, what should be the path we should follow. Instead of that, let's say from this A department to B department, if I started my journey like this way, then it is possible with this red line, the journey of A to B is possible.
No, sir.
Why?
Need too much wasting time, sir.
Yeah, that is there. That means this particular diagram tells again one more thing, that the possible shortest route. If I want to go to the B department, directly I can go to the B department by this line. If I will go to the B department like this way, by moving here and there, visiting E department, then I will go to the B department. This particular line or whatever this particular path is there, it is more wasting my time instead of going straight. Is it right? So if I want to go to the C to D department, C operation to D operation, directly straight away I can go like this way. But instead of that, if I go like this, if I go like this, making the round to the other things, so that indicate that is the wastage of time. So more time may be required. So this is, we can call it as the flow diagram from one point to another point, how it should be there. And if you look at to this, it is also called as string diagram. String means wire, as wire is remains same, straight from one point to another point if it is straight. So like this is the string diagram. So how the string diagram is there? A to G, A to F, G to H, G to A, G to J. So any department, if you look at here, from this department to this department, if I want to travel, I should travel in a straight way, that is the string way. String way means when if I take the rope and at one point if I tied it, or I told to one person, hold this rope at one end, I will go to the another end and I will hold that side rope with little bit tight way. Then that rope is become straight. It is not become like this. The rope is not become like this. Is it right? Whenever the rope is hold straight, it look like in this fashion only. That's why the name of this diagram is shown or given is a string diagram, as it is the straight one. And by looking at this diagram, it's very simple. We can understand the shortest path to reach to that diagram. Okay, so this is the different departments: A, B, H, E, I, F, J, C, D, G. Whatever the departments may be there, office may be there, drinking water may be there, canteen may be there, or account section may be there, official task may be there, store may be there, whatever may be, ABCD is there. That sequence we doesn't care. But here it shows that only the shortest path from each department to each department. That is in the straight away, string way. Okay. Then this is the particular travel chart. When you look at to this string diagram, the string diagram tells you the shortest path, and this is the travel chart. Travel chart is the tabular method which record the quantitative data, that is frequency of transportation, distance traveled by the material or operator. So from where to where this particular persons are moving. Okay, let's, in this chart, all departments are listed in row and column wise with same sequence. So A to A, A to B, A to C, A to D, A to E, like this. So this is the from two side, and this is this is the two side, and this is the from A department where I should go, from to. Don't write the roll numbers in chat box. Each intersection box represents the data for the movement from one location to another location. Okay, so from B to A, how much is the distance is there or data is there, that is shown here. Okay, it records the movement of an object in a complex situation and better over steering diagram to simplicity. So here what is there? Here we can understand the material is moving from which point to which point, or which department to which department, or which workstation to which workstation. So from A to A workstation, how much time is required to travel? Or can we say the machine material is travel from A point to A point? Can anybody tell me? We can say that material is traveling from machine A to machine A? Can anybody?
Yes. Yeah, sir.
Can we say that material is traveling from machine A to machine A? Or operator is traveling from machine A to machine A, or department A to department A?
No, sir, no.
That's why here diagonal is 0. If you look at here, the diagonal, there is no values. Okay, some diagonally no values are there. Then from B to A, yes, certain time is required, certain distance is required. So where is B? B to A, certain time is required. Is it right? Then C to A, certain time is required, but it is not mentioned here. Or from C to A, no traveling is there of the job. From D to A, there is traveling of the job. From E to A, there is traveling of the job. Is it right? So like this way, we can make this tabular charts. And here we can understand from which machine we are getting the job, or to which machine we are getting the job. If I will mark here that from B to A, there is traveling of the job, so I will mark here X. From C machine to A machine, There is no traveling, so I will kept it as blank. Then from D machine to A machine, there is a traveling of the job. From E machine to A machine, there is a traveling of the job. So for A machine to A machine, 3 jobs are received, and these 3 jobs from B, D, X. So I will write here 3. That means to machine A, 3 jobs are received. Then to B machine, from A machine, job is receiving. From E machine, job is receiving. So for this A machine, I will say 2 jobs are going. One is to B machine, one is to C machine. For this A machine, 3 jobs are received. So here I can say receiver, R, receiving the jobs, and here sending the jobs. So A machine is sending 2 jobs to B and to E. And A machine is receiving 3 jobs from B, D, and E. Is it right? So like this, to each and every machine we can measure, we can count how many jobs are coming, how many jobs are going. So if you look at this side, you will find that for B machine and for E machine, more jobs are received, 4. From this side, only D machine is sending 4 jobs. But here D machine is receiving only 1 job. D machine is sending 4 jobs to the another machine, and D machine is receiving only 1 job, and that is from C machine. Is it right? C machine sending 2 jobs, 1 to D machine and 1 to B machine. Is it right? So like this way, we can understand which machine is empty now, which machine we have to send the job, which machine is heavily under workload condition, which machine is not that much having load. If you look at from this diagram, machine D is just receiving 1 job, but from machine D 4 jobs are going to machine A, machine B, and machine E. Means machine A, if it is receiving only 1 job and he is passing the 4 job, how he can pass the 4 jobs? Is it right? So like this information we can understand, and we can increase the frequency of the jobs. We can increase the number of jobs to that machine. Is it right? Machine A is receiving 2 jobs and machine A is sending 2 jobs only. Receiving 3 jobs and sending 2 jobs. Mean 1 job is on the machine A itself, and it is becoming the delay. Machine B is receiving 3 jobs and sending 3 jobs. So receiving 4 jobs and sending 3 jobs. That means again 1 job is in delay in machine on machine B. So you have to make the balance like this way. Which machine is receiving what type of job and what machine is sending the job to the next machine. So this may be we can call it the travel chart. It is also operator. Machine A operator can send the job to machine B operator. Is it right? So for job wise, for material wise, for operator wise, this particular job distance travel chart can be made easily. Or machine B operator is moving to machine A operator. This much time is required. Machine D operator is moving to machine A operator. This much time is required. Machine E operator is moving to A machine. This much time is required. So total time of machine A. So that is also you can calculate in time, in material, how many jobs are received, how many. So you can develop this chart from the concern points. That means if it is for material point or whether it is for operator point. So these flow diagrams and this travel chart, this indicate that what is the time required to travel from one point to another point and how we can reduce that time. How we can reduce that time. So that's why at initial of the particular this particular introduction of this particular IE, I have given one example that if one job is at machine A, let's say here, okay, from this it is traveling to I machine for second operation, it is traveling to J machine for third operation, it is going to machine E for next operation, it is going to D for next operation. Like this, if the traveling is more of that job, the operation time may be less, but traveling time may be more. Is it right? In that case, what we can say, we can do, we can, if A machine is there, here only we can put the I machine, no, immediately. We can put I machine here. So what happens if from A, the more number of jobs are going to the I machine, immediately from A to I it will go, and from I to J it will go. So this will be reduce the distance instead of going from this point to this point and coming from this point to this point. So here, whatever the traveling time is there, it will be get reduced. Can we shift the I machine to this or I workstation to this particular point, so that it can be reduced the traveling time, and because of that traveling time reduction, there will be the increment in the particular productivity. There will be the increment in the productivity. So we have to arrange the machines in a such a way that the traveling time should be less, and that traveling time you can calculate by based on this chart. This is the main aim of the method study, to reduce the unproductive time and increase the productive way or productivity. Unlike, do you understand this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Rakesh, Shubham?
No doubt, sir.
Okay. So like these charts and like this particular templates, there are like this chart and like these diagrams, there are certain templates are there. So what is these templates are there that we are going to study? While flow diagram or string diagram, the templates of the cardboard or colored papers. So templates of the colored paper or cardboards are used. Different colored templates may be used to indicate various facilities like machinery, storage rack, bench, equipments, etc. These templates shows actual floor place utilization. So whenever we are drawing the layout, on the layout we can use this template, that is different color papers, and due to this we can actually understand how much floor place is used and how much floor space is empty. This is less costly. It can be moved on the layout plan, thus providing various layout options. Duplicate copy can be made. Overhead facilities cannot be visualized. It is difficult to understand for non-technical person. These are the disadvantage parts. We can say three parts, and these are the advantageous parts. So on the, just I will go. Okay, no cycle is there. So what is there in this? So let's say this is the one shop floor area. Okay, I will draw here. And in this shop floor area, let's say this is one department. Okay, then again this is another department, yellow color, green, then I have used yellow, blue, green. So these are there, and red color area indicates the overall color, overall department. So these are the colorful templates I have used on this layout. Okay, like this. Then what will be the total floor space area is there? By looking at this diagram, what you can understand? You can understand that red color is the total floor place area, and in this area the different machine is there, building is there, office is there, canteen is there, store is there. Let's say yellow color is this blue color is official building. I will say here office O. Blue color is a machine M. Green color is canteen C. This particular is store. and this is the, we can say, raw material R. So in this red color boundary, this many shop floor is there, and in this much area is utilized. Is it right? So that is shown in the different color. So if the person is having the background of that template, he can understand. But to make the duplicate copy of this is difficult. In this industrial area, in this shop floor, whether from raw material to machine and machine to store, whether overhead cranes are there, upper side cranes, it is not shown here. And by looking at this diagram, if any new person is came and he will look at to this particular, what these different colors are there, he may not be understand. So these are the disadvantages, but preparation of this is very easy, it is less costly, and it can be shown on the layout plan. So this is called the templates, so that we have to study. Models are scales of facilities to similar the actual facility. So instead of templates, you can prepare the models also. You can, knowing that building models are there, small, etc. Beside length and width, they show height of the facility. So models can be utilized. Models can show the height of the facility also, because whatever these templates are there, these are in the 2D x and y direction. It cannot show me the height. What is the height of the machine? What is the height of the store building, etc. But that can be visualized in the model. Height we can understand. These models are made up of wood or plastics. So you might be knowing building models, etc. Is it right? So small houses are there, 3D models are there nowadays. Printing, we can call it as the soft lithography, laser printing, etc. That models are there. Minor details can be shown in the models and mounted on a thin plastic sheet acting as a floor plan. So if you are looking at building builders advertisement, they are showing the 3D view of your flat or your house, etc. Is it right? So models can be effectively we can use. They are especially very useful when multi-storage plant layout is to be designed. So when different storage parts are there, or multi-storage building is there, multi-floor building is there, at that time these models are very useful. So these are the related to templates, these are related to models. So all of you are knowing the models. My first question, all of you are knowing the models?
Yes, sir.
So any difficulty you find in the model, observation with model?
No, sir. It look like same as the proper.
Yes, that means whatever the original building is there or original things are there, it look like to the similar to that. Is it right? So you can show the your building, your layout of your organization, your company layout with help of some models, or you can use the templates also, like this whatever I have explained in different colors. But as per the understanding point, the model gives more detailed or more clarified view as compared to the templates. Is it right? Where what we should locate, etc. So you might be knowing that different house models are available, different things are there. So you can prepare your own models, and models can be prepared with the help of plastic or woods. That means lightweight. It can be traveled from one point to another point, and most of the time it is kept in a glass so that other people can prepare. Is it right? Many a times in a project exhibition, etc., you can prepare the models of wind turbine, or you can prepare the models of wind energy, sea energy, or river energy. Is it right? Water energy models. We are preparing small turbines. We are keeping small water flow. We are showing like this. So these models, or some city planning sites models are there. So these models can give the more details as compared to the templates. So these are the some points where we can think. So these are the advantages. For layout person, it is easy to understand. Models are very easy to understand. Overhead buildings can be shown, yes, because height we can give to the models. Models can be easily shifted. Immediately we can shift the model from one place to another place, as it is lightweight. It is, they present more and less real situation. So they are showing the real situation, how much area is there, where the parking should be there, etc. Disadvantage, required more storage area, they are expensive. Model preparation is little bit expensive because miniaturization is there, small parts, small details you have to maintain, you have to show there. So model time, building time is little bit more, is it right? But it will give you the proper idea. That is the advantage point, that how the things are there, how the process is there. So that idea they are giving very well. But the time required is more, they are a little bit expensive. Miniaturization things are there, and time required is more. Arrangement is required to be made properly. Then carefully we have to use the material so that balancing things will be there. Okay, so that advantage, disadvantage parts are there. That is not the case. One more part is there, that is the cycle graph or chronocycle graph. Okay, cycle graph and chronocycle graph. What is this? This is the photographic technique introduced by Gilbert. So in first chapter only we have find this Taylor and Gilbert, their contribution. So these are developed by Gilbert. These are used especially for those movements which are too fast to be traced by human eyes. The movements are very fast, which are too fast to, we cannot trace it. So that is shown by this particular method, cyclic graph or chronocyclic graph. These methods are very accurate and record the minor details. Okay, so cyclic graph, here the continuous line is used. Okay, cyclic graph method, the continuous line is there. But chronocyclic graph, it represented in pear shaped dots. So dot. At each and every location that dot is generated. So if you look at the cyclic shape and this chronocyclic shape, the shape is similar, but way of the representation is different. And this is the, these are the some movement where very fast movement is there. So where that fast movement is there. So if you are having some videos of some forging industries, etc. So there you can observe the hot material is coming from the furnace and it travels to the machine very fast way on the rollers. Because from furnace, when it will be reached to the machine, the cooling should not be there. So very fast transportation is required. And with our eyes, we cannot understand. Immediately, just a red light is moving or it is moving in front of our eyes. So that is shown by this cyclic graph or chronocyclic graph. Anyone is having that, whether in MP you have visualized that videos of fast movement of heated material? Anyone? MP, in MP, whether you have visualized such videos? Rishikesh, Rakesh?
No, sir.
Okay, I will show you. If time, next lecture, I will show you that videos where that heated material which is coming out from the material, it is traveling to the from furnace to the that forging press or forging hammer. They are very traveling very fast, and these are very accurate method to understand the movement of the very fast motions. This is the one way of cyclic graph and chronocyclic graph. Then the micro motion study.